It's Friday, March the 10th, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today afternoon update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, the ruling Democratic Labour Party has all but dismissed the latest downgrade by Moody's, which suggests that the government was likely to default on its external loans. Without naming any international agency, DLP General Secretary George Pilgrim told a news conference this morning that government cannot bend to the dictates of external institutions and destroy the lives of families.
This party stands committed to ensuring that we keep people employed and the maintenance of our social services. The very same thing the Barbados Labour Party is protesting and marching against is exactly what we are trying to do. We are complaining about declining social services, education and pay for education service, etc. And this is exactly what this government is fighting to maintain and keep intact. We cannot bend to the dictates of external agencies and just seek to destroy families and lives.
The DLP General Secretary was speaking at the launch of the party's e-fax card via more than 2,000 online blasts. The Barbados government is being asked to consider approving construction company Preconco and two of its products for fiscal incentives. A notice to this effect has appeared in the February edition of the Official Gazette. It gives notice that the Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development, Donville Innes, was about to be asked to consider whether to approve Preconco and the product's piles and portal-frame buildings. Any person wanting to object was asked to do so in writing to the ministry by the 23rd of last month. Opposition Barbados Labour Party candidate for St. Michael West, Reverend Joseph Atherley, is appealing to ordinary citizens to take action at the community level in rebuilding the country. Atherley was speaking last night at the function where he awarded more than a dozen members for their outstanding work in the constituency.
The job is mine. The task is yours. We're in it together. We will sink in this country together, or we will swim in this country together. If we are to swim, to stay afloat, then you who have been accustomed to doing it for years, and those who are able to influence along the way, must be able to do that as well, so we hold our country together. You want to leave behind you when you depart, and you will whether you like it or not. You want to leave behind you when you depart a country that is far better off than you found it when you arrived and that you experienced as you grew up. You want to leave this country a better place for your children, and whatever the threats and whatever the dangers to their future well-being, part of the force that stands between them and a future which is darker than the one we had, part of that force is you, and you constitute the force. We can't count on government to do it. We can't count on institutions to do it. We, you, I, we together as individuals.
In sport, the latest ICC ODI rankings are out, with West Indies' Sunil Narayan at number 2 in the top 20 bowlers. The only other West Indian bowler in those rankings is Captain Jason Holder at position 15. South Africa's Imran Tahir is the number 1 ODI bowler. Meanwhile, England's 3-0 win over the West Indies at Kensington Oval yesterday sees it gain 1 point to reach 108 points, but it remains in 5th position. The West Indies also remains in 9th position, but the result means it is now 5 points behind Pakistan's tally of 89 points, making its task of qualifying directly for the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019 stiffer. The top ODI team is South Africa.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Let me step up, Corey fed up. And we marching now, Corey fed up.
I am ready to march. Every day there is another issue that this government doesn't know how to solve. They keep piling on the taxes, but yet taking away your benefits. The roads, the water problems, the garbage pile-ups, the downgrades, the Prime Minister's silence. I am just fed up. and ready to march.
Fed up of them? Then step up if you're fed up. March 11th from Jubilee Gardens. The march starts at 4 p.m.
Get your paper. Only 225, 220. Who? For what? That's Bear Stare News. I don't read about that from Barbados today since last night. That can't only care do. 220. Who?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back with news from the region now. Some 397,000 Jamaicans will not be paying income tax from the 1st of next month. This is one of the measures announced in this year's budget presentation by Finance Minister Audley Shaw.
Finance Minister announced to the country that the budget will be moving up from $710 to $715 billion. And to finance that, he has announced some new tax measures. First of all, the income tax threshold will be increasing to, on April 1, 2017, to $1.5 million Jamaican dollars. That means that the first $125,000 each month of a person's income will be tax-free. And with that increase, it means now 397,000 people will now pay no income tax. It leaves now 72,000 people on the income tax, which means that we are moving in the direction to get the income tax, the direct taxes off and move to indirect taxes. But financing that will take new revenue measures.
The state-owned Trinidad and Tobago Tourism Development Company has been dissolved. This announcement was made after a meeting in Tobago yesterday. Tourism Minister Shamfa Kodjo said 2 separate companies will be established, one for Trinidad and one for Tobago.
Speaking at Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing in Tobago, Tourism Minister Shamfa Kodjo said the decision to dissolve the TDC follows a review of the entity.
And so it is in that light that this decision was made today after the review was done, as we looked at the different structures for the management of tourism in Trinidad and Tobago. Any serious tourism destination needs to have basic standards. Right now in Trinidad and Tobago, right now in the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago is the only tourism destination that doesn't have a regulatory authority or basic standards that are mandatory.
As for improvements to the tourism industry as a whole, Minister Kodjo said an agreement has also been made for the establishment of an entity to deal with regulation and licensing for the tourism sector.
On the international scene, South Korea's Constitutional Court removed President Park Geun-hye from office today over a graft scandal involving the country's conglomerates at a time of rising tensions with North Korea and China. The ruling sparked protests from hundreds of her supporters, 2 of whom were killed in clashes with police outside the court, and a festive rally by those who had demanded her ouster, who celebrated justice being served. And finally, crowds gathering for the Vietnam premiere of the new King Kong movie fled in panic after a huge model of the famous gorilla caught fire. Flames which had come out of the nearby simulated volcano as part of the evening's entertainment quickly spread. The 16-foot-tall ape then caught alight, and within 5 minutes, the whole of the stage outside a cinema had burned down. Onlookers at the scene, a shopping center in Ho Chi Minh City, had originally thought the spreading of the blaze was part of the program. And that's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, our screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.